Welcome to Branding 3, the 10 steps to developing a successful brand. This is a 14-step process, so I detailed it more than just those 10. Now, it could be 16 weeks, it could be 20 weeks. What you don't want to do is come up with a brand in a week and people feel like you just crammed it down their throats. And so this presentation is also available in an hour-long one, the step-by-step guide that goes into far more detail than I am going to do in this presentation, which is running you through these 14 steps pretty quickly. Okay. And then, by the way, we're going to use Alpena, Michigan as our example here. And Alpena, Michigan, you can see on this little map there, that's Traverse City. It's on the western side of the peninsula. And then there's Alpena over on the other side. Traverse City is already really known, but nobody really knows anything about Alpena. So I'm using them as an example because they went through this exact process. Step number one, every one of you in Alpena, create a destination Alpena team, a destination or team, and get an outside facilitator. Now, when I talk about destination, I'm talking about a destination for visitors, but also as a destination as a place to live, to open a business, you name it. So I use destination. Don't just think this is about tourism. It's the entire community. And by the way, the reason you get an outside facilitator is so they can cut through the politics. They come from the markets you're maybe trying to attract. I mean, in many cases, we've been that facilitator where somebody from the outside can say, you know what? I don't think that's going to work without hurting somebody's feelings. Remember what I said, politics is the number one killer. You know, the facility has no access to grind. Then put together the rest of your team, the destination Alpena team. In this case, you could be city or town manager. You can see the list there. And I try to keep it under 13 people so it's not a focus group. This is your destination team that's going to help you decide what your brand is. Okay. So once you get this team together, the second thing to do is, what are our goals? What do we want to be known for? What do we want this to actually accomplish? You don't do branding just because, oh, we need a brand. You want it to accomplish something. In Alpena, they said, we want to be a tourist destination. Right now, they're all going over to Traverse City. We want some of those people to come over to our side. You know, we want to create small business opportunities. They were losing businesses. And then finally, they wanted to create opportunities for the youth because the people that live there, kids that live there, when they graduated from high school, they said, I can't wait till I graduate so I can blow this town. So these are their goals. So we have the team, we have the goals, and now we want to ask the community, what do you think? Here's your chance to weigh in on our future. That's how you do this. And we usually do you could do a Google online questionnaire. You could use SurveyMonkey. And we never ask 10 questions. We ask 9 questions. And by the way, this whole list is also available for you. And it's in the longer version of the step-by-step process. But we ask a series of questions. And then the very last question is, what do you think Alpena should be known for? What do you want people to think of us 10 years down the road or 7 years down the road? In the case of Alpena, 150 people weighed in. Typically, we get between 350 and 1,100. You really want about 10% of your population to weigh in. You're asking them for their opinion. And so you're going to get all these responses. Sometimes it's sarcasm. Sometimes it's really thought out. Sometimes they're going to tell you that we have something for everyone, which you know isn't going to work. The important thing here is you asked. You've got to ask. You don't want to do a brand and then say, nobody ever asked me. And this gets you past that. Then number 4, compile what you heard and you start filtering through the process. And in the other full length video, we tell you exactly how to do that. But remember, you're building your brand on feasibility, not just local sentiment. This is how you're going to get past the politics. You know, at the end of the day, this is about importing more cash into your community, whether it's tourism, economic development, or slowing leakage when locals spend their money somewhere else. So you're going to go through that process. And then you will also figure out, well, who are we even trying to attract? Do we want higher end visitors? Do we want equestrian visitors? Do we want to be more about kids and family? And what market areas are we trying to attract from? In the case of Alpina, I'm not going to go through this whole list, but they said the first thing we got to do is get people from our own county, then people within a 50-mile radius. And they would go down this till finally you become a stronger destination that can come from other states. In their case, by now, when they went through this, they decided they wanted to be a sanctuary city. After all, Alpena is home to the largest freshwater sanctuary on the planet. So they said, could we leverage that? And they have this whole museum there and everything. And they do shipwrecks are there, you name it. They're on Thunder Bay. And so they said, we want to be a sanctuary city. And I'm not talking about a sanctuary city in terms of politics and illegal aliens. I'm talking about a place that is a true escape, and they realized when they did research that more than half the population pre-COVID was concerned with stress in their lives. And that's gone up to about 90%. So they thought they'd do that. And by the way, if you go over to Traverse City, there's party central over there. It is active, got great nightlife. But in Alpena, they could be the quiet escape, silent sports, stand-up paddleboarding, canoeing, kayaking, scuba diving, you name it. So who are we trying to attract, and which one of all these ideas we came up with would be different or better than all the other destinations? So number 6, now you may need to recreate your team. In this case, there may be some people that said, you know what, I like this whole sanctuary idea, marine sanctuary, but it's really not my cup of tea. So you may have people drop off, and then you replace them with people who say, whoa, I love this theme. I want to be part of it. It's okay. But we want people that are doers. It's really important. We want doers, not directors. I love this. Never doubt that a small group of committed people can change the world. And he's the only thing that ever has, Margaret Mead. Or remember this is my life's motto, is nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. You're going to have to sell this. You narrowed your focus, and it's tough to narrow your focus. So these people also need to be willing to take some hits along the way. I love this one. I can't give you a surefire formula for success, but I can give you a formula for failure. Try to please everybody all the time. And so in the end, these are the Alpena champions, Destination Alpena team. Now, some of these people have kind of flittered away, their jobs changed, but there's always one or two people that just champion. And one is Jeff right here. He actually runs the marine sanctuary in the museum there. And he is just, of course, he's got a vested interest in this brand. And then there's Missy LaFave down here. Missy is a retailer downtown, and she is a go-getter. These two really have driven the bus to push forward. There's always one or two people that just keep pushing it forward. And I might add this guy right here to it because he's married to her and will do whatever she says. So now you need to reimagine that team to a group of people that are on board 100%. Then number 7 is now you write the brand promise, your story. In their case, it was as the sanctuary of the Great Lakes, Alpena embodies the haven from the stresses of everyday life. And if they were to shorten that down even more, it's sanctuary of the Great Lakes, marine, body, and soul. This is it. Then they developed pillars to go under this brand. By the way, they looked in the whole region. Nobody else was a sanctuary in these terms that they're using. So they said, we need to create learning opportunities where it's heritage, culture, environment, wellness, and speaking of wellness, it could be fitness, silent sports, recreation, diet, training, all of these things, or the environment. These are the 3 pillars that are going to create the experiences under the sanctuary brand. Then number 8 is this group to sit down and say, where's the product? Remember what I said? All brands are defined on product, not marketing. So they knew they wanted to create a plaza downtown and call it Sanctuary Square. It might look something along the lines of this. They want to recruit a high-end boutique hotel. This is the Stephanie Inn in Cannon Beach. Or you said, could we get one of those, kind of a spa type hotel? And can we get spas, more spas in town so that people coming here for that whole reason to get away from the stress? Then they could add diving certifications, boat tours, snorkel tours, and they're doing all of these things. And then they thought, man, if we're going to be an educational place, wouldn't it be cool if we had a pavilion? We call this a public market. It's got these roll-up garage doors, and inside it could be part public market, farmers market. You could remove all this stuff and host all kinds of sanctuary events, like home and garden events, education, training, even local tours. Or you could bring in artists in action, learning new hobbies, all of those things. Culinary tourism could be part of that. So in their brand, in their product development portion of the brand, it's these things. Plus they want to rename local parks to fit the brand, develop a wayfinding system, stepping up downtown beautification, recruiting new businesses like sailing charters, boat rentals, kayaking schools, all of these things. And then finally, the plan included about 20 to 30 ideas that had to do with product development. So now we're at step number 8. Number 9 is create the look and the feel of brand. You know what? Many of you have made this number 1. It's number 9 out of 14. So in the case of Alpena, they actually defined Alpena. Number 1, a sacred place. Number 2, a place of refuge from stress, pressure, and anxiety. Number 3, a community known for its wellness, health, and fitness. Number 4, a rejuvenating experience. Number 5, the definition of sanctuary, Alpena, Michigan. See, so what they did is, this is my sanctuary. This is our sanctuary. This might be your sanctuary. They can do ads like this. And then, here we go. They can hang posters, and they've done this around town, defining what their brand is, even along their trail systems and silent sports. They've already redone the website. Even the Holiday Inn there changed its name to the Sanctuary Inn. So now we have the look and feel. This is where logos are. They're step number 9 in slogans. And step number 10 is, now you've got all these pieces. Let's put it together in an action plan. And we've got, in branding 6, goes into detail about developing an action plan. So I'm not going to do it here. Then number 11, make something happen. So in their case, they said, okay, let's design these pole banners and let's just go put them up. There was no debate, no public discourse about new logos or even really the brand, because you have to sell it. So number 1, they started putting up these pole banners. People go, wow, those are really pretty. It wasn't a debate. Then they went out and changed that gateway sign that just says Sanctuary of the Great Lakes. So people go, oh, we're the Sanctuary of the Great Lakes. There was no public debate. They already weighed in. We came up with the most feasible brand for them. Their Maritime Trail with Aspen Loop, Sunrise Loop, Wildflower Loop. Doesn't that sound like a sanctuary? Even their parks director went to the city and said, would you mind if this weekend we redid this park? And by the following Monday morning, it was now Sanctuary Island Park. How cool is that? And the trail that goes out there on the Sanctuary Island is the Sanctuary Trail. So you want to make something happen. This is a way to ease the brand in rather than in a big public rollout. It's so much easier to do it that way. And during this process, you've got to keep your energy high. Never fold to the naysayers. Don't fold to the cavers. And you know what that stands for? Citizens against virtually everything. And I'm telling you, there's always this group of people. You cannot do this. You cannot fold to them. And number 13 is tell the world. And this is letting people know. It might be all of a sudden you have hats with a new logo on them. You might have new stationery, business cards. You're just doing this slowly. People might say, if Greg Sundin, who's city manager, says, oh, here's my card, and they go, oh, that looks different. Said, oh yeah, we've been working on our brand. I mean, there's no debate. It's done. You know, even their vehicles could look like this, and they have done some of them already. And then finally, the last one is revisit the plan every month or two. This is a plan that sits on your desk, not on a shelf. So in summary, I'm going to break it into 5 big steps that you took. Number 1, discovery. Where are we today? You could have somebody like us come in and do a destination assessment. Have somebody come in from the outside, that facilitator, and have them take a look at your community. This is your baseline. Number 2, we ask the locals. You might run that survey for 3 weeks or so so you can tell them, we heard you. But out of all those ideas, we did the research, the feasibility. Then out of that, we developed the action plan. And then finally, you've got to go sell it. You will never ask anybody, what do you think? That's just open the doors for negativity. You need to just say, isn't this cool? This is what we're going to be known for. So welcome to Alpena, sanctuary of the Great Lakes, and here's to their very bright future. And once again, if you want more detailed, watch the video, the step-by-step process.